Hello. I'm Kyofu or Aaron, and this is my podcast. I've been wanting to do this for like 2 years now. I just never got around to it. I never like it was a thought, but I never had the motivation to be like, okay, let's actually sit down and do this. So this is kind of like my warning now. This podcast is gonna go into really mature themes. Um, I would say that this podcast is very 18 plus only, but obviously I can't stop you from listening if you're a minor. But this is intended for mature audiences. This is intended for adults. This is intended for those who are of age. But if you are underage, I suggest you tread lightly. Um, Also, no matter what age you are, I will be going to dark topics. This is your huge trigger warning now. Um, there will be topics in here like mental health, rape or sexual assault, um, like gore, murder, pretty much anything under the sun and back. This is, like I said, your one and only warning. And if you can't fuck with those topics, then maybe my podcast isn't for you. Um, but yeah, this is kind of like your last chance to click off. If anything, if you still stick around, then that is on you, and welcome to my podcast. Currently I don't have a name for it yet, but I am going to probably think of one day. Today is not the day. But where do I want to start? I guess let's talk about like podcasts in general. I guess I can start there. I I always love the idea of podcasts. I love when like people just like you really get to learn how somebody thinks by listening to like a podcast that they run. Or like there's like social media accounts where it's just people ranting and talking about their life like as if it was a podcast. I love those things because it's like you really get to actually like sit down and think in their shoes. Like they're giving you like the full opportunity to live their life. You know, like they're telling you exactly how everything is. The thing is with that, it's like, yes, they're giving you like a lot of details about their life, but they're not giving you everything. They're not giving you like the raw material. And I feel like that's really what's important whenever it comes to like podcasts or people talking about their life is like they don't give you the raw details. Like I know a lot of podcasts, it's all about like, oh, how to improve yourself, how to have better mental health, how to, do this, this, and this, and this. What about like normal day to day activity? Like, let me just know what you believe in. Like, even if it's fucked up, like, even if like, society won't agree with it, I still want to know. That's how I like am. I'm one for like really like deep down conversations, the deep shit, the really controversial shit that like nobody wants to talk about. I'll be the one to talk about it. Like that's just how I always have been. And whether it's VR related or like IRL based or whatever, like politics, religion, I don't care. I start the conversation and we'll go for hours. Um, but that kind of like leads me into my first topic is like how desensitized but also overly sensitive people are nowadays. Like you open, let's say TikTok for example, you open TikTok and you know, depending on what your for you page is like, it's saying like, oh, uh, car accident or murder or this person went to jail or this person's a pedophile or this person's a rapist or it's a bunch of negative shit or it's like all sunshine and rainbows but the occasional post is something negative. Like nothing is 100%, you know. But then you'll get the rare video of like somebody being called out for doing something, and it's like you just see like all their little supporters up in the comments like, oh no, they didn't do that, you're wrong, or let's say it's like a gore video, right? And it's not even gore. Like, let's say like it's showing like the tiniest drop of blood. Someone in the comments gonna be like, "Oh my god, I can't handle this. That's so much blood. Oh my god." But then they'll sit there and be a horror movie fanatic. Like what? And I don't understand. Like, okay, I can understand if you're like squeamish, you have an easy stomach or an uneasy stomach or whatever. But I'm like, if you are so desensitized to the fact that like you can watch like horror movies or all these bad things, but then you get overly sensitive about something else, then how does that make any sense? And like, for example, like I'm a person, I watch a wide variety of things, but something I used to watch a lot is just people arguing. Like, I don't know if like anybody remembers like whenever Packers were a thing, or like, well, they're still a thing, but like really popular, like Pat God and all that. I used to love those videos, but it's like, and as someone who would watch those videos, if somebody came up to me saying half of the shit that was said there, I wouldn't care, like it wouldn't phase me. But there's people out there who do care and who take it to heart, and I'm like, and especially on this game, especially on VR chat, like of all places, it's like, why? Why are you so sensitive? Why are you taking this random person's words that probably lives like across the world from you that you're never gonna see in real life? Why are you taking their words so literal? And like, I don't get me wrong, I used to be one of those people. I used to, take what people said to heart. But like, I'm 19 now, and like I have a life outside of VR chat, and I deal with the public every day, and I've come to realize that what people say does not matter. And I feel like a lot of people fail to realize that is at the end of the day, someone else's words do not matter at all. Because you gotta think about it. Whenever you wake up in the morning, you yourself are the first person you see. And then the same thing whenever you go to bed at night, you are the last person that you see. It's not your partner, it's not your dog, it's not your cat, it's not your parents, it's not your siblings. It's you, it's yourself. And if you are letting somebody's words get on top of yourself, then you are the problem. And I feel like not enough people realize that. Like, I could go up to someone right now and say that they're fucking ugly, or that they're fucking like fat, or whatever. I could say whatever I wanted to somebody. How do I know? Like, how do I know what that person looks like? It's a virtual game, for one. And for two, why would they care? Because like I said, it's a virtual game. They don't know me, I don't know them. I don't know what they look like. They could be like supermodel material, and I how would I know? It's all about what you think of yourself. And I feel like at the same time as like all these people who let what people say like get to their head, I feel like it's because they think that about themselves. And don't. Like, not to be religious, because I'm really not, but for the people who are, there's that saying is that like, God created you a certain way, or whatever. Like, like you were born a certain way. You can change it, don't get me wrong, but there are things that you can't change about yourself, and at the end of the day, that is up to you to accept it. And like, there's also not an excuse like for it. I mean, yeah, like for example, like your facial features, you can change it. Like, plastic surgery is a thing. If you really hate something about yourself, then change it if you want. No one can stop you. But at the same time, like, you can change what you want about yourself on the outside, but like on the inside, like your DNA and everything, that doesn't change. Like, that, you can't change your DNA. You can't change who you're related to. You can't change your genetics. You're always gonna have this one thing. Like, for example, I dye my hair. Just because I dye my hair doesn't mean that I'm permanently gonna have purple hair, Like, I have purple in the front and I have black in the back. Just because I dye my hair like that doesn't mean it's gonna permanently be like that. Like, I have my roots growing in. You can see my roots growing in. They're brown. I'm forever gonna be a brunette. Like, that's not something I can change. There's no amount of hair dye or chemicals that'll change my permanent hair color, But like, For example, like my face. Like, I, I'm 50-50 on it, I'll admit. But at the same time, I plan to change things about my face in the future, like, so that I can better fit myself. But just because some random person comes up to me and calls me ugly, I'm not gonna sit there and cry and be like, oh my god, I'm so ugly because this random person told me I was. And I feel like that's a lot of like things that people don't realize. Is just because someone says you are does not mean that you are. If someone came up to me and told me that I was a dog, you know, they just told me I was a dog. I'm not gonna sit there and get on all fours and start barking like a dog. Start eating out of a food bowl. Start pissing and shitting on the ground. Start digging holes just because this random person told me I was a dog. I'm still a human being. I still have 2 legs, 2 arms, head, shoulders, I still got thumbs. People need to realize just because someone says you are something does not mean that you are. You are what you say you are. That was crazy. So, literally, in the middle of me recording this, I got called by my best friend, and she was telling me about how, like, her friend was saying that she couldn't say a certain word because she's very whitewashed, right? Mind you, she is Dominican and white mixed together. Like, she's mixed, but she's mixed with like white and Dominican. But again, you can't physically see it. And that kind of goes with like what I was just saying, which was people don't know you. And like, for example, like her friend was saying that she was white because she looks white, right? Taking it as service value. But you look at her ancestry, she's Dominican. Her dad was Dominican. So it's like, that kind of goes with what I was saying. Like, just because someone says that you are something does not mean that you are. It's what you say you are. It's what you are as a person. It's what it really like boils down to at the end of the day. And people, that's like, if whenever people ask me like what my advice is to somebody, like if I had to give one piece of advice, it's don't listen to the words of other people. And I mean, that can be taken in, 2 different ways. Like, yeah, obviously I'm kind of conveying it more as like if somebody's saying something negative to you, don't take it, at surface level. I mean, don't take it like to heart. But it could really be with anything. Like, I could walk up to you, be like, "Did you know the sky's pink?" I could sit here all day and gaslight you and say that the sky was pink. Mind you, it's like noon, right? As much as I can sit here and gaslight you that the sky is pink, you know damn well that the sky is blue. On a good sunny day, obviously. Like, if you are sitting here until you're blue in the face arguing with me that the sky is blue, whenever I'm obviously just telling you this to affect you, you are the problem. Because you are taking my words literally. You are taking my words to heart. Whenever you know, obviously, that the sky is blue. Or that, it's this, not that. And, I don't know. Just don't take people's, like, words to heart. That's one of my biggest things. And going on about that, like, my next thing would be, like, people who lie. Why in this day and age, are we still lying? Like, people need to realize that, like, whenever you lie to someone, that hurts so much more than just telling the truth. And, I know, I don't know if, like, for other people, but I know, like, for me, a thing my mom used to tell me a lot growing up is that it's easier to tell the truth than it is to lie, which is true. It's so much easier to just tell the truth than to lie. And it not only makes you feel better about yourself, knowing that you're telling the truth, but let's say I broke a plate, right? Let's say I broke a plate, and someone asks me, "Did you break that plate?" And I go, "Oh no, this person did it." So now this person's gonna be mad at this other person because they're gonna think that they broke the plate and then didn't tell them, right? So obviously that's gonna get back to me, And the person I accused of breaking the plate is gonna be like, well, why did you lie and say it was me? Because now they're mad at me, and now I can't trust you. When altogether I could have just avoided all that and be like, oh yeah, no, I broke the plate, I'm sorry. Or I could have just went up and been like, hey guys, I broke a plate, I'm sorry, I'll buy a new one. You know? And they may still be like a little bit irritated, but at least I owned up to it. At least I admitted my mistake, and I also offered a way to fix it. Like, telling the truth is genuinely so much easier and so much better of an option than lying. Like, for example, like, I wasn't intending on like doing a whole like name dropping thing for this podcast. I'm not. But if I ever talk about something and the shoe fits, then it's probably about you. But I had an ex, and me and her were together, right? And she didn't tell me off the bat that she had a roommate. So I didn't know. I thought she lived with her parents or whatever. So it came up in conversation one day, and she told me that she had a roommate. Mind you, me and her were already dating. I was like, oh, you didn't tell me you had a roommate. That's kind of cool, you know? I wasn't phased by it. So life goes on, and my best friend, the one who had just called me, she texts me saying, hey, do you have a minute to talk one-on-one? And I was like, okay. Mind you, she said one-on-one because we would always hang out. Like me and calls. Oh, I'm lagging. Oh, I'm lagging really bad. Oh, I'm lagging really bad. Okay. Mind you, me and that ex were always on calls together. And like we were pretty much like never apart. So my best friend is like, hey, can I talk to you one-on-one? And I was like, yeah, sure, what's up? So I dip out of the call with my, girlfriend at the time. And I call my best friend. And she's like, I need you to not be mad when I show you this. And I was like, okay. Like, what are we talking about? And she shows me a screenshot of this guy's profile. And it had my ex's name in his bio since, like, May of last year. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't process it at the time. I'm thinking, like, at first, our first thought was like, okay, maybe it's an old account. Maybe he quit using it. Maybe it's not that deep. And then I really dug into it. And what's crazy about it all is my girlfriend at the time had her nickname for him in her bio the entire time. And I didn't know what it ever meant. I never questioned it because it was there, before I met her. But it kind of like clicked, and I was like, oh my god. So I confronted her about it, and she tried to pull oh, I was gonna tell you, I'm sorry for not telling you, like that whole thing. And that kind of goes to show, like, even if you're not directly lying, even if you're hiding the truth, it hurts so much more than just being upfront with it. Because I told her, I was like, if you would have just told me from the start, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have. I could have worked around it. But the fact that she sat here and hid the truth from me, it hurt. It did. Later down the line, she ended up claiming that she left him for me, which I then found out was another lie. After I finally broke up with her, I found out that was a lie too. And that's because I reached out to him. I was like, hey, what's going on? This, that, and the third. And he told me that they never broke up. She claimed she wanted a break to work on herself. And within that break, she was dating me. So it's kind of just like I said, like, it would have been so much easier for her if she was just upfront with me and upfront with him and been like, hey, I'm dating my roommate. We've been together for a long time. This, that, and the third. And then she could have went up to him and been like, hey, I like this guy. Can I, like, date him, like, off aside from you? Because, again, like I said, they live together. So it's like, he obviously has more access to her than I do. But and obviously, if he wasn't okay with that, I wouldn't I wouldn't step on their toes about it. I'd be responsible, I'd be respectful, and I'd back off. But it was the fact that she lied to both me and him about it. Um, I don't know. I'm a whole believer that it's just so much easier to tell the truth than to lie. Um, I I won't lie. I see. I used to be a huge liar when I was younger, but as is most kids are like that. Um, you tell those little white lies, those little fibs, and you don't think anything of it. But then you grow older and you continue to lie, and you continue to lie, and you continue to lie, and you don't realize the true consequences that there are until you're an adult. And that's how it was with me. Is like I didn't realize the true consequences of me lying until I was an adult. And um that's like kind of when it hit me. I was like, why am I lying when I can just tell the truth and it just be over so much quicker? Like, even if it's going to get you in trouble, you will be in less trouble if you just tell the truth from the start than if you were to lie and then the truth gets found out. Because the truth always comes to light, always, in every single situation. No matter how well you cover your tracks, no matter how well you hide evidence, the truth always comes to light. And you lying is just prolonging it and making the consequence worse. So, and this game is filled with like so many liars, and that's why I really hate the community. Like, I used to be, fully involved in this game, and now I only get on it like after work. I use this as a de-stress, you know. Um, I'll get on for like a few hours. I'll hang out with friends, and then I'll get off and go to bed, or I'll go to bed, watching a movie or whatever. I'm not as involved in this game as I used to be, and that's also because there's so many bad people in here. There's so many people who lie. There's so many people who cheat. There's so many people who are messed up in the head in a bad way that it takes away from how many good people there are on this game. And I just got tired of it. Like, it's like every instance you go into, there's either drama, or there's like a pedophile or an avatar ripper, or something of bad nature. And that's another thing I say a lot, is that like 8 out of 10 instances you go into, there's at least one pedophile. And it's crazy because a game intended for adults, but there's more pedophiles on this game than normal people, and that's crazy to me. Is why are you at your grown age preying on people who are young enough to be your child, or young enough to be your niece? Like, if and it's crazy because it's the same pedophiles who will sit there and prey on children, but then the second that somebody goes after like their little sibling, or like their niece or their nephew or their cousin or whatever, their friend even, they want to get defensive and like they want to start, going at people. But you were the same type of person doing that to someone else's child, to someone else's niece, to someone else's sister or brother or whatever. Like, it's the double standards that really get to me, and it's crazy. I don't understand. I don't understand people, and maybe that's a lick on me. Maybe I'm the weird one because I can't understand these people. But also at the same time, if I had a chance to understand these people, I wouldn't take it because I don't want to know their mindset. I don't want their mindset to rub off on me. I don't want to share a mindset with those people because I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be that type of person. I never dream about being that type of person. I would genuinely rather unalive myself. I would rather die than to touch a child, or to flirt with a minor, or to, do something against someone's consent, or, or to just be like a predator or anything like that. I would personally rather take my own life, or have someone take my life for me, than to sit there and be such a vile parasite in this community. Like, it's baffling of how people will sit there, see a child, And instead of being, oh, let me guard this child from evil people, they're like, let me be the evil people that this child should be guarded from. And it's appalling to me. It's appalling to me. And it disgusts me. And there's so many people. Because, like, I also know, like, I was on the end of being groomed, of having people become pedophiles for me. And so I understand what it's like to be in a child's shoes whenever an adult is hitting on them. You know, you're seeing it as harmless, you're seeing it as validation. At the end of the day, that's not validation. That is predatory behavior. That is corruption. That is taking away someone's innocence. And then the same people who take away innocence from obviously innocent people are the same people who go around saying that, like, oh, the world is coming to such an end, you know, the world's gonna end soon, you know, this, that, and the third. But you're the reason it's happening. Like, you are the reason why humanity has come to so much shit, because you are contributing to the bad parts of it. And what's just as worse is the people who know and say nothing, or the people who know and then defend them. Like, you know it's wrong. You know deep down that what this person is doing is wrong, yet you stand there and defend them. Yet you stand there and will ward off anyone who tries to call them out on it, who tries to expose them, who tries to get them help. I believe in helping people. But if I'm trying to help you, because I won't lie, I have a friend, and they are 19. I found out that them and their partner, who was 20, were dating a 17-year-old. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I told them two things. I said, either you can break up with them and I'll sweep it under the rug. I won't say a word. But you have to break up with them and block them. Or, if you continue to date them, I'm going to expose you. You know, because mind you, I had known this person for years. And I knew it was wrong. I still don't even speak to them to this day. Like, yeah, they have a spot on my friends list, but I don't speak to them at all. And I think, if I remember correctly, they had ended up continuing to date them, but kept it private, or something along the lines. And then they ended up breaking up like a month later. And I told them, I was like, I hope you know that there are people who know, and I am keeping my distance from you. Because it's like, I knew this person since we were minors. Like, me and this person are the same age. Like, we're both 19, you know? I think I'm like a few months older than them. And you're gonna sit here. And granted, you know, they were like, oh, well, they're only 17. Yeah, you're right. They're only 17. They're not 18. They're not an adult. That is still a child. You know? And it disgusts me. Every time, like, I accidentally join a world with them, I feel a wave of guilt myself for not speaking out about it, for not telling people, like, hey, this is what this person is really doing. But at the end of the day, I'm able to live with myself, the fact that I drill it into their head that what they were doing was wrong. And whether they knew that already or not is not up to my discretion. And I believe people can change. I do. Do I think pedophiles can change? Yes, I do. And do I believe that, like, murderers or rapists or anything can change? Yeah, I do. And here's why. If, let's say somebody, you know, is a serial killer, they go to prison for, like, let's say, give or take 30 years. That was their sentence. Their sentence was 30 years. They do what they're supposed to do in prison. They get out early on good behavior. Good behavior that was earned and deserved. Let's say that they go and they make something of their life. They actually become a good person. That's them changing. A person changing depends on their actions after the fact that they got caught. And to the person I was talking about, they've genuinely gotten better. They don't speak to anyone under the age anymore. They don't associate themselves with anyone under the age anymore. I can genuinely see that they have realized that they were wrong and that they're changing for the better. And that's cool. I still don't talk to them though. I still don't associate with them. I may have them added, but I don't associate with them. And I think that's the important part, is knowing when to separate yourself from people. Because if you don't know when to separate yourself from someone, then that's going to be equally as bad. You need to know when to take negative energy out of your life. If someone is weighing you down and holding you back, as much as you may have a bond with that person, you need to cut them out of your life. If you have people around you who are not constantly pushing you to improve, then they don't deserve to be in your life. My coworker kind of put it in a really good way. Her and her ex-husband, they would have times where they would laugh, but they would also have times where she would cry. And she said that the reason she divorced him was because she realized that he was making her cry more than he was making her laugh towards the end of their marriage. And that kind of hit me, and that kind of stuck with me. If someone is making you cry more than they are making you laugh, you need to get rid of them. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. If someone has more of a negative intention towards you than a positive one, they should not be in your life. If someone has more of a negative outlook towards you, your life, your goals, your aspirations, rather than a more positive and supportive one, they should not be around. And I think that that's really important to keep in mind, because it kind of branches back to what I said earlier. People are liars. They will sit here and look you in the face and say, "Oh, I support you. I'm so proud of you. Spew you all of this positive bullshit." But behind closed doors, they do not give a fuck. If anything, they are preying on your downfall. And that's another thing too, is you have to be very careful with people. Whether it's in this game or real life, you have to be very careful about a person's intentions, because you never know. You will never know until they show their true colors, and by then it's already too late. And I think that's where I'm gonna end this one off, because it's already been a good almost 40 minutes. Is people are not who they say they are. People are, I'm going to repeat that. People are not who they say they are. People will come up to you and create an image of themselves in your head to make you want to keep them around. But then they're going to do that one thing. They're going to break character. They're going to do that one thing, and you're going to realize that everything that they've been showing to you is a fake. And that's kind of how I have a shirt that I wear a lot. Well, not a lot, but I wear it pretty often. It's a Tupac shirt, and it says, I think it says either trust no one or trust nobody. Where is it actually? I just had it. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. It's a Tupac shirt, and it's a picture of Tupac on it, and it has his name at the top, and at the bottom it says trust nobody. Yeah, there we go. Trust nobody. That's not what I'm trying to convey, but I'm also trying to convey that. Don't give anyone your trust until they have proven to you that they deserve it. Don't trust anyone until they earn it. Don't trust anyone until they work and earn your trust as a person. If they have not worked and earned and deserved your trust, then why are you giving it to them? Because if you are giving it to them based off of what they tell you at face value, you are an idiot, and you are the one that is going to be hurt, and they are not going to care. if someone came up to me and was like, oh, hey, I support you, you know, you're such a great person, I want to be friends with you, we're going to be the best of friends, this, that, and the motherfucking third, and I go and I put my full trust into them, and then they turn around and hurt me, and backstab me and betray me, I physically cannot be mad. I can't be mad at them. All I can do is sit there and be mad at myself, because why would I trust them at face value? Why would I sit there and trust this person I just met based off of a few words that they said? So that's kind of like my ending one for this episode. I don't know when I'm gonna record another one, but I think back to the name. I'm gonna probably name it Clocking It. I think Clocking It's kind of sitting with me. So this is episode 1 of Clocking It. I don't know when I'm gonna record the next one. But yeah, feel free to give me topics to talk about. This was all free-handed. This was all non-scripted. And that's what I plan to do with this, is that, like, I plan to do this completely non-scripted, like, very little editing. If any editing is done, it's probably cutting out a few clips, like if I break tracking or if I get phone calls or stuff like that. Like, I want this to be, like, the most raw footage I can give, because that's what I would want as a viewer, as a listener, is I would want raw footage. So, welcome to Clocking It. Yeah, I'll see y'all next time.